January 26th. That's the last time we uploaded a podcast. Which, by the time this is out, if you stick to the 2-week thing, it's basically going to be 3 months since we've had an episode.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
What happened?
What did happen? You know, that is a genuine good question. I think, from what I can understand, we both just had a bunch of shit happen, like, all at once. Lives got busy. Couldn't
like that.
Come together.
I think you said you've been working a shit ton of overtime the past 2 months at least.
Yeah. My job's got. We went from. I'm going to using call center terms here. So we had peak, which is a more than call center term. Where I started, and then after that there was ramp down. So they started getting rid of all the seasonal people, which I thought would have included me. Did not. And then they ramped down again, which I also thought would include me, which still did not. And now we were in what they called steady state. But steady state was, we have less than a third of the amount of people we had when I started, and everybody's working overtime the entire time, it feels like. So yeah, I've got on top of like schedule changes. I've just been overtime for the last, I want to say 2-3 months, and seemingly for the next at least 2.
So they cut a bunch of people and just shoved their hours onto y'all.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. I work not the closing schedule or shift, but pretty close to it. And most days I leave an hour past my normal shift time. Or at the worst of it, I was coming in an hour early and leaving like an hour and a half late. Like, it was kind of steady that way. Yeah, it's been rough.
Yeah, for me, I think that those first couple weeks, I just didn't want to record for a variety of reasons that I can't remember all of them off the top of my head. It was 3 months ago. Mm-hmm. But I do know that we would schedule to record someday, and that day would pass, and then try to make it up, and then that day would pass. And I don't know, I think I was just, I don't want to say burnt out, because it really wasn't burnt out. It was a lack of passion. I don't really want to do this if it's not fun, and if I'm not putting a lot of creative energy into it.
Yeah.
And that happened throughout the, 2 years now that we've been doing this?
I want to say, yeah.
Yeah, 2 years now that we've been doing this. There's been off and on standpoints of where we've had a string of episodes where I wasn't happy at all with my energy in them, or the direction of them, or the conversation we had, or I thought it could have been a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
But then it would pick back up. But the last, I think December, of course, you know how December is at Amazon.
Yep.
So that completely wore me out. And the month before that, I think we still had kind of a stop-start thing with this.
Mm-hmm.
And it just left me completely out of love with the show. And I started thinking about how much lore we were going to give it and everything we were going to do for it. And at the beginning of the year, I said we would do Friday videos. I don't think there's been a single one.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it was all just really disappointing, and it really got to my head, and I just ended up not wanting to record. And then it got put off and put off and put off. And then you got struck with all that overtime. So even if I wanted to pick it back up, we couldn't really do that. Yeah. I mean, I could maybe try, but I don't have the programs you have to make it look as pretty. So I don't know what that would have looked like.
I'm gonna say the bar wasn't set high for certain with me doing it already. So, I mean, I could totally feel that. I definitely one of my determining factors was like with my schedule for one. Like it would have been possible, I would say, with the schedule I think you still have, if I'm not right, if that's right at Amazon.
Yeah.
But it was like changing. Like I went through 3 different schedules in 2 months at one point because we had a shift bid from one to the other. And then I was told that my schedule was getting changed to make it no longer have like split days off or anything like that. So that was a little bit better for recording, but bad for getting any sort of consistency to find a time to actually record because it was hectic, at least from my point of view.
Yeah.
Definitely remember the Friday videos. We did schedule out a couple days to try and record. I remember that much. I don't think we just never sat down and did it.
No, we scheduled a couple days and then we had ideas.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I don't know. Like I envision the Friday videos being like reaction style content and commentary content, like how you would do like playback. If anybody remembers that channel with Agent and Low, I imagine that kind of vibe to it, except a couple more things added onto it. I know you probably are unfamiliar with that.
Yeah, I don't think I know them.
But reaction videos and commentary stuff, just to have something extra on the channel and something that I could work on, you know. But we ended up disagreeing. I believe you brought a topic forward. What was going on in January? Something was going on in January. The Marvel Rivals thing, where the dude got tossed out of the tournament, that Magic player.
Oh yeah,
yeah, and you were like, I can't get this out of.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah, you were like, I can't get this out of my head, and I was like, it's been like 3 weeks since that.
I'm like, dude, it's a reaction content. It's still going on at this point in time. It was on the way to fizzling out, and I think it did shortly thereafter. So I think even by the time the video would have come out, it would have been like at the very end of the whole thing. So I mean, you were right by all means.
Yeah. Well, the problem is like I had another idea for it. I am way more. I get my toes deep into the waters of internet slop drama that you just don't.
Yeah, I sure don't.
You just don't do it. So I thought of the idea of to have a channel where I bring all of this to you. But I was like, that could just be like a podcast episode. You know,
I mean, maybe, yeah. Depends on the format, how we do it, and I guess generally just what the ideas are or what's going on.
Yeah, but I thought of that, and then within a week, I looked at the channels that I would watch slop drama on, and every video title and every topic and every time I would listen to the video, at some point I'd be like, who cares? Who cares about this, you know?
Yeah, and you see why I don't know too much about shit sometimes, because I get that far, I'm just like, what, do I care enough to continue watching this or learning about this? Not really. But then I kind of stop.
I feel shame when I am here all day and I'm like cleaning up the house or I'm just sitting around watching YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel shameful that that's how I spent my day. But also when my wife gets off of work and I'm in the car with her and I'm like, okay, so this YouTuber, right? And she just is looking at me and I'm like, oh. You know what? Maybe I should be doing something better with my time.
See, I feel like I would have expected her to to entertain it or like be interested in it or in some fashion. I figure, but I guess not.
Oh no, she entertains it because it's something she likes. Just me talking, right?
Mm-hmm.
So anything I yap about, but she does admit to me that some stuff is dumber than, than others.
I mean, which is fair. Which is fair. I mean, I don't doubt that to never happen. It's just, I don't know. I thought she'd eat it up, to be honest.
Maybe I painted her in a bit of a bad light, but when it comes to YouTube slop drama, I can tell because she'll be like, wow, that's insane. And I'll be like, all right, you want me to talk about Star Wars now? And she said, no, you can talk about YouTube. She's heard enough about Star Wars and Spider-Man and shit.
I imagine she knows the Star Wars lore as good as you do now.
Yeah, against her will.
Yeah, exactly.
She is, though. Which one? Mandalorian and Grogu. That's coming out this year. And she actually really loved The Mandalorian. We watched it together. So
I did really like season 1. I never got around to watching season 2.
Season 1 is great. Season 2 is great. Season 3.
I forgot there was a season 3. Okay.
Yes. I think season 1 is, Season 2 is really about them trying to get back to Mandalore, like the actual planet.
Mm-hmm.
And season 3, I can't even tell you what season 3 is a mess. Season 3, like, it falls off. But season 1 and 2 are great. I still need to watch Andor. I get told to watch Andor all the time, and I still have not watched Andor.
I had just recently heard Andor come up in a YouTube video, and the dude mentioned that it was like a great show. So I think I had already planned on watching it. I just got to get to watching it too. Like I was catching up because The Boys came out, and I was catching up on those because the people in the Discord they all watched it, but I was at work and my unfortunate timing. So I was able to see it, but I wanted to hear it, so I really didn't watch it whenever they were. And I did watch season 1 or episode 1 last night, so it's on its way.
Episode 1 of the new season.
The new season, yeah.
Okay. I watched a couple episodes of season 3, but I have not gotten back into season 3. I watched seasons 1 and 2 in like a month.
Season 3. It feels like a mess, and so far this season, it's wild. I guess there's a lot of shit I just can't get used to. So,
have you watched Gen V?
No, I actually.
Is that what it's called?
Yes. Okay. I remember the Gen V kids kind of showing up in one of the seasons, and I asked my roommate because we were watching it together. I was like, They're talking like they've been here before, but I have never seen these kids ever. And I was like, where are they from? He's like, they're from Gen V. And I was like, the what? And he was like, yeah, there was an in between the season that kind of happened there. And I was like, oh, okay, sure, I guess. So yeah, I guess I have to watch that at some point, but hadn't thought about it.
In terms of TV, my mind is taken up. The new Darth Maul show is really good. Back on Star Wars.
One. Yeah.
It's really good. Supernatural finally came to Amazon Prime, and I've been wanting to show my wife it for so long. Mm-hmm. So right now we're at the end of season 3. I'm so glad that show holds up. Like I loved Sons of Anarchy when I first watched it.
Yeah.
And when I watched it with my wife, I was like, actually, it's not that great. A lot of stuff about it actually blows. I'm so happy Supernatural holds up as a very, very good show in the first couple seasons.
That's good.
And then we watched Daredevil together for a little bit because I finally watched it. Came over to Disney Plus.
Mm-hmm.
So we finally watched the first season of Daredevil, which, shocking, hot take, it was really good.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Daredevil is one of the shows that I liked throughout the multiple seasons. Like, there's a lot of shows that had more than one season that after a while, I start just not liking it because it sort of just like feels like they're just trying to keep it going for the money at that point.
Yeah.
But Daredevil was one of the shows that was just like, I like this throughout the first couple seasons, and then even Born Again, when it started, was pretty good. And funny story, I think a friend's mom also liked Daredevil, but her favorite character was Foggy. And I'm not going to spoil anything for you or anything like that. You said you only watched the first season.
I know what happened.
Oh, okay, yeah. And they were in an effort to get her to watch the show again. They were like, yeah. She was like, "Is Foggy in it?" She was like, "Yeah, Foggy's in it." And she watched the first episode. It called her back and was like, "I'm never watching that show again." Yeah. And I was like, "Damn."
The problem with showing shows to my lady that I've seen is she hates when I don't tell her that people die. So I just let her get attached to characters that I know are going to die. Sons of Anarchy, it was Opie. We watched the first Star Wars movie she watched with me was Rogue One, and everybody dies in that movie. But in Supernatural, it's been so long that I've forgotten a lot of Supernatural. And I think in the last couple episodes of season 2, Sam gets killed and Dean sells the soul to bring him back. And when Sam got killed, I was like, I forgot that happened. And she was in tears. She was like, no, you didn't. No, you didn't, because you always do this to me. I was like, I forgot it happened. I swear.
Dude, if you ever watch anime together, I would suggest you get her into Attack on Titan. This is me being evil, by the way, because there was a lot of characters in Attack on Titan that you would get attached to, and then they would die. So there's one.
See, I want to do it for Game of Thrones, but she would be weirded out by the first episode ends with a brother and sister fucking in a tower and then shoving a child off of said tower,
I feel like I missed that in the first episode of Game of Thrones, but it's also been 6 years since I last watched the first episode of Game of Thrones. So
yeah, I watched it a couple of years ago because I was like, I'll get into it. And I think I watched that episode and the second one. And I was, because you remember Jacob?
From like Twilight, Jacob?
From Amazon.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, he was the biggest Game of... Don't know why I'd be talking about
That's why I was like, I don't remember much. Werewolf. If we're talking about actors, I'm like, if we're talking about actors, are we talking him or something else?
There's like so many Jacobs I could be talking about. And yes. Your first thought is like the werewolf? You mean Taylor Lautner? You mean that one? Jesus Christ. But no, he was the biggest Game of Thrones fan, and I believe season 8 came out like a year before I started working there, and we got on the topic, and he hates what it did to Game of Thrones, as a lot of the fans do. So when I was thinking of watching it, I was like, should I watch it, or should I just not put in the time? And he said, don't even put in the time, bro. Don't even put in the time.
Heard.
Oh my God, I think this happened too in our little break. That reminds me of the thing that happened with Stranger Things.
With the season being bad?
Yeah. How the last season was so bad that the fans were convinced that it actually wasn't the finale. There was a secret episode that was going to be dropping a couple weeks later that was going to fix everything.
I feel like they kind of dropped that show off a cliff, if I'm not mistaken, from what I heard.
Dude, I've never been a Stranger Things fan. Just never got watching it at all.
I don't think I've seen a single episode, so I don't know anything about it.
I heard the first couple seasons. The first season's great. Second one's not that great. Third one is sensational. Fourth one is okay.
I forgot
But
I have a text message that shows somebody's a fan of theirs what they thought about the seasons.
well,
We'll
while
see if
you
I can
find
find it. Yeah.
apparently, like season 5 came out, everybody said it was a flop, and I saw some tidbits from the little documentary they made or the behind the scenes, and legitimately in the writers' room, they had no clue what they were writing. Like, people would be showing up to on set, and it's like all those leaks coming out of Avengers Doomsday. They're like, we don't know what we're filming today, but we got to film something.
Yeah.
You know?
I found the text. So season 1 good, season 2 bad, season 3 good, season 4 their favorite, season 5 unbearable and kind of ruined it for me, to be honest, because they did stuff that to me ruins it and doesn't make sense.
There you go. Yeah, in the writer's room, I believe like some guy was like, but how? So we have these characters here. How is this character there? And they were like, you know?
Yeah. That the changes that they kind of, or I guess that kind of description of the change that they would do there kind of reads to me somewhat what they're doing right now in The Boys. But it's kind of like a time skip that makes sense. It's just you don't expect it to happen the way it did.
Okay.
So it's just every time I'm just not used to it. I have to get used to it.
I don't know why I have not gone back and watched. I have a commitment issue when it comes to TV shows.
I do too.
That I watch by myself.
Oh yeah.
Like right now, I have stopped that Batman Cape Crusader on Prime Video.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoy it, but I keep stopping and starting it. Same with The Boys. Or legit, it took me... I watched The Penguin week to week, and then the last 2 episodes, it took me like a month to watch those. Same with like Peacemaker season 2. I don't know what it is. I just stop watching it, and then every time I'm sitting around trying to find something to watch, I'm like, I could watch this, and then my brain's like, eh. And then I'll watch the episodes, I'm like, why didn't I come back to this?
There is so many times where like I would start a show and I'd be like, okay, I made it to episode whatever. I'm going to come back and watch this another day because now it's time for like, I'm going to game with friends or what, no, go to work or whatnot. And then when I'm coming back, I'm like, I could watch this show, but I don't have that much time. So I'm just going to watch some YouTube or something. And I'm like, I end up watching YouTube for longer than I could have watched the show.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I totally could have gone in and watched the show, but I guess I just decided not to. And that tends to happen a lot. Like I'll get into phases where I watch shows for so many times. Like a couple weeks ago, I think I watched like most of the Avengers like series, like shows. I made it through a couple. I think right now I'm watching Punisher. And now like I stopped again and I totally could go back to watching it. I just haven't.
There's a big difference between me and my lady. I don't know how she does it, but when she finds a show she likes, she fully commits to that show, and legit, that's all she watches when she's at home or when she's at work or whatever.
Yeah, I did that too.
In the past year, she has gone through Bob's Burgers, which is 16 seasons of a show. Malcolm in the Middle. There was a show called Mom that she watched all the way through. And then she's seen every episode of Kitchen Nightmares because she loves that. Like she gets a show, watches it all the way through, and then just moves on to another show. She'll go back and watch some Bob's Burgers stuff, and they're coming out with new seasons.
Mm-hmm.
But the only reason she's not farther in Supernatural is because it's the one show where she's like, I watched that with Jack, so I can't watch it at work.
Yeah, there was a time period where I did the exact same thing. It was many years ago. I think it was around my high school time, but yeah, I was the exact same way. I would watch shows like I think it was different types of shows, of course, because I was a big Marvel DC kid. So it was all of those shows. I think it was like The Flash, Arrow,
Oh, the CW
yeah,
universe.
the CW universe, yeah. And I was flying through seasons of those. Like I made it to seasons 5 or 6 of the Arrow before it started feeling repetitive, and then the Flash. I made it so far into that, and I to the point where I thought the shows were done, and then they kind of started having more seasons release over the years, and I just kind of stopped keeping up with it.
I watched the first season of The Flash. My brother really got into the CW universe for a little bit. I don't think he ever watched the Superman and Supergirl stuff, even though I heard the Superman was actually really good. But I watched the first season of Flash and I liked it. And
Mm-hmm.
I've seen the clips, the famous clips of late seasons of The Flash,
Yeah.
where it is horrible effects. Like the budget just got cut in half somehow. So it looks like he's just on a treadmill in front of a green screen.
Yeah.
It looks so goofy.
Yeah. Yeah, and when I thought the Flash movie was coming out, I thought they would use him as the Flash. Um,
I was really happy when I found out Charlie Cox was being carried over into the movies as Daredevil, and John Bernthal is being carried over as the Punisher, and then Vincent D'Onofrio as Kingpin, and blah 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 blah. I thought that was great, and I hope I think the guy who played Luke Cage in the Luke Cage show,
coming back.
I thought he was great.
I think he's
People
coming
loved
back.
it. Really.
Yeah, for
People.
Daredevil.
What was the girl? Jessica Jones.
Jessica
I hear
Jones.
people. Yeah, I think people really liked her. I wouldn't I would change out if they cast Green Arrow. I don't think I'd want Stephen Amell. But what Grant Gustafson? Is that his name?
If you're talking real name, I do not know. If you're talking character name, I also don't know.
That's the guy who played Barry Allen in The
Oh,
Flash.
yeah, not sure. Don't know.
Although
his name.
diving, because I'm getting heavy into comic books right now. That's what I don't want to say hyperfixation is, but
Mhm.
legit, my YouTube feed is filled with like Comic Drake, the Panda Bread, like a lot of comic book, Sir Superhero, I think the guy's name is.
Yeah.
A lot of comic book stuff, and I was just about to get a little cheeky little subscription to the Globe. Is it Global Comics? Where
I think I
it's
know
like
what you're talking about. Yeah.
it's like Kindle but for comic books.
Yeah,
And then,
yeah.
I showed you what happened to my phone.
Yeah. Both of
But-
them, I think.
but diving into that, I'm becoming more of a Wally West guy than I am a Barry Allen guy.
Oh.
Yeah, that's
that looks different than I last seen.
can you see
Jesus.
the
Yeah.
yeah.
Gosh.
No. This was my secondary phone. It's my wife's old phone when we got her a trade in.
Mm-hmm.
My phone, the one that I dropped and the screen went by, right now is in the living room, just out of a case. I just dropped it and I thought nothing of it, and I picked it up and 2/3 of the screen is black.
Yeah, dude. That fucking sucks.
Yeah, but luckily or unluckily, I'm due for a trade in. So I was gonna go do that, and then my car wouldn't start.
Yeah, I remember seeing when I did open Snapchat and finally responded to your snaps. I was just like, Jesus! Every time it's like one thing or another, and it's just it cascades, and I'm just like, I don't understand. I don't see where all these issues are coming from. Like, I know you said it's an old car, but after a certain point, I figure like it should run for a minute before something else happens. You know?
Yeah, no, it was 2 weeks. I looked at it. It was 2 weeks between me having to replace the radiator and the radiator hose to getting out of work, starting the car, and it would crank and would not turn over.
Cranking wouldn't turn over. Camshaft position sensor. Please tell me it's that easy.
Well, here's the timeline. This happened last Sunday. I'm still driving around in my grandmother's car. Not this past Sunday, the Sunday before that. Right?
Like 2 weeks ago?
Yeah. No, little over a week. It's not 2 weeks.
I mean, today, yeah. So like not a few days ago, but like, okay, a little over a week. Okay, yeah, got you.
9 days ago.
Yeah.
So, I got it towed to Pet Boys. I had never towed it to Pet Boys. I was going to get it towed to Finish Line, but my phone screen is 2/3 black. So I couldn't type it in. So I clicked Pet Boys because it was the closest. And I got it towed there, called the guy, said it was going to be there. It left on voicemail. This happened on Easter, so I figured they'd be closed.
Mm-hmm.
Monday comes around, Monday morning, and I call, and I mentioned the car, what was happening. They said, bet. We'll call you at the end of the day. No call came.
Okay.
That night, right before they close, I call them, and they're like, technicians are still looking at it. They detect multiple problems. We'll call you tomorrow. I said, cool.
Okay.
No call the next day. No call. So I'm like, they said they call me. They're checking it out. I'm just going to leave it, right?
Yeah.
The next day, no call at all. And I call them right before they close. And they're like, multiple issues. We'll call you in the morning.
Okay.
So it's Thursday now, and I have my grandmother's car. And I call them before I go into work. And the guy's like, yeah, so we have multiple issues. Camshaft sensor. The battery's putting out weird signals, and the computer in charge of sending out everything, info to everything, is screwing up. We can't do anything. So you're going to have to tow this to a dealership. And dealerships cost more to work on the car.
Yeah.
And I just got that camshaft sensor replaced. So my grandfather was like, tow it to the shop that replaced the camshaft sensor. They have a warranty on it. So if anything, they'll replace that for free. We'll see if that happens. I said, okay. Called Pet Boys back and I said, hey, I'm going to tow it out of there, but I can't tow it till Sunday because, it was Thursday and you know how my weekend is.
Mm-hmm.
He said, cool. So yesterday I had it towed to this new automotive shop, called them. They said, yeah, we'll pull it in soon. And I have not heard from them since. They close at 6, so I'm guessing they're doing the same thing where they're detecting multiple things and they're going to have multiple people look at it. So tomorrow I'm for sure going to call them. But if I got to tow it to a dealership, my grandfather was like, they might just say, hey, we're just going to add this onto a car in the lot because it's just not worth it's just not worth fixing it up. And I'll have a new car with more expensive car payment, which will be nice.
I want to try and do a little bit of red light mechanics, see if I can try and diagnose what was actually going wrong with the car, hopefully, maybe. Questions. When it cranked, did it crank normally? Like, did it have any weird sounds to it?
No. It got stuck cranking, and, I'd feel it vibrating, and it wouldn't turn over, and I'd have to turn it off.
Okay. Did you hear a clicking when you were cranking it? It's usually
Maybe.
not the
Again,
loudest, but
this happened 9 days ago.
exactly. That's why I'm
So
trying to remember. Yeah, okay.
possibly.
And at no point it turned on because it did end up getting it towed. It's really sounding like another camshaft position sensor, but he said that was one of the things that was changed recently when that car was having issues, right?
Yeah. Here's the thing, though. When they say computer electrical problems, I fully believe them, because the red brake light that comes on when you got the emergency brake in place,
Mm-hmm.
that'll pop off and on just randomly, and it had been getting worse up until this point. The airbags would turn on and off constantly. The radio would bug out constantly. So this car has electrical issues. So when they say electrical problems, I can't contest that, because it does have electrical problems.
How long since you've got a new battery?
I got a new battery when I got the car. Like I want to say 2-3 months after I got the car, which would have been April of 23, 24.
It's possible that may be the root cause. I know battery issues tend to throw up a lot of every light it could and mess with other things. Like in my SUV before I got a car, the battery went dead on it, and like it threw up every single one of my lights. And then as I was driving it, when the alternator was bad, everything just kind of slowly dimmed, whereas the battery threw everything up. So it was all kind of weird.
No, I once drove with a bad alternator, and the days leading up to that, if I was driving or parked near a wall on the side the alternator was on, you could hear like the click, 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 click of like a bad alternator, and I was like, that doesn't sound good. But let's just hope, I dropped my lady off, all the lights came on. And I couldn't drive. And luckily I made it to an AutoZone, and I tested what was going on. I ran the codes, and he was like, "You got a bad alternator." And I was like, "Well, that sounds expensive." He said, "Yeah." And I was like, let's just cross our fingers and pray, right? And I made it from that AutoZone. I made it about 10 miles before the rest of the lights went off on my dashboard. And every time I tried to press the gas pedal, So,
yeah, your battery was trying to power the car. Yeah, that'll happen.
I hated it.
I feel like when I had to change my alternator, how expensive of a fix was it? Because I feel like I don't think any repair that I've taken to actually get worked on has been so expensive. But alternator is the one that could be expensive depending on the car. So I'd have to look it up for the Trailblazer. What year was my car? 06? Yeah, $85 is what I see.
To get the part.
For the part, yeah. And I know where it is on that truck, and it's not a hard place to get to. So I would have ended up doing it myself if I had known at the time.
Yeah, no, if it does turn out that I got to trade in that car, and the rest of the money I owe on that car will just be added on to whatever loan I got to do to get another car. As my grandfather said, that's what will happen. If that happens, whatever. I feel like I'm going to treat that as a soft relaunch to my adult life. I think I've been floating in this everlasting limbo of existing. I do the things to make sure I can walk freely, and I got food in my stomach and my bills are paid or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I feel like this character growth that I've kind of gone through over the past year, it annoys me and it depresses me because I feel like this should have happened, 6 years ago, but I can't change that fact. It's happening now,
I mean, it kind of just happens when it happens. It's not something. I mean, it is something you can prepare for, but in the situation we find ourselves in, it's kind of something we just kind of have to accept when it arrives.
Yeah. I had this crash last Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
This massive crash, worse than any others that I had, and it was that one where I'm gonna shove everybody away and I'm gonna check out early, and my wife, of course, was not having it. And the next day I woke up. No, I think this was it was last Tuesday. I woke up, and from Wednesday until Saturday, really, I had this rejuvenation where I legit felt something different about myself. I felt meaningful change happening. And, it sounds weird. It sounds weird when I start explaining it. But I summarized it in a video I made, kind of a video journal yap session, where I've chosen that I want to live, and when you choose that, it blows that that's much harder than choosing to die. Choosing to live comes with a lot of responsibility and a lot of stuff you got to take care of, but legitimately, I do want to live, and I want to take it seriously. And I went through, Thursday and Friday with that attitude and mindset, and it was the best 2 days of work I've had. When I tell you, I'm not on the brink of being fired, but I've been written up 3 times in the past 2 weeks for both rate and TOT.
Damn.
Because I've just, the past month got bad, especially in that warehouse,
Yeah.
And I turned it up, and I know I'm stumbling, but it felt different. I wasn't tired walking out of work. I was really consistent those 2 days. My rate didn't drop below 62 for pick. And
pretty high for pick, isn't it?
Yeah, for reference, the baseline is 58.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I figured it'd be lower. I know the stow rate was 20 or something. No, I feel like it was higher than that.
Yeah, it's been so long. But now Saturday, it finally got to me because I don't know what it is, man, but when you really try to turn on this positive outlook on life, this glass half full kind of thing, the universe just tries to choke you out. I don't know if it's just me. I don't know if anybody else has experienced this, but legitimately, I go through phases where I'm like, fuck this. I'm going to live. I'm going to change this. I'm going to get healthier. I'm going to do this or that. And it just awakens the universe to be like, huh? What?
Yeah.
Sorry?
Yeah, I had a time where things were going fine. I'm not saying they're going bad now or anything like that. It was just, I know that I had the pretty much same experience where I was going to the gym, I was going to work, I was saving money, making money, preparing for the future or whatnot. And then car troubles that costed a couple $100 to fix. Yeah. And then other things happened that just changed finances, and I was just like, okay, all right, chill out
Yeah.
now. Let me chill. Like, I'm just trying to get myself right, and then shit happens, and I just gotta roll with it, I guess.
Yeah, depending on who you are, and I really have to keep this thing, and it's just when you make that choice and then stuff like that starts to happen, it just feels like the universe or God or whatever you want to say, it's going, okay, can you handle it? You know?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why it's got to be so soon. Golly. Like,
Yeah.
you can give me a month. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you can give me a day or something, but
Something.
I truly feel it's okay. You're talking all this game. Let's see if you're about it. And in the past, I have not been, but I let it. What's that Rocky thing? Life will beat you to the floor and keep you there permanently if you let it.
It's been so long.
That line has gotten truer the more I've experienced, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And you just got to you just got to keep your head up and keep going. But it really, truly, and you won't ever understand this until you've actually been through a couple things or, tried to do this, that, or the other. You're going to get smacked the fuck up. You're going to get jumped, You're going to be in the middle of the street, 10 dudes just stomping you out. Mm-hmm. And when they stop, you got to get back up. You got to be like, all right, what's broken? What's not broken? How do I fix the things that are broken?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, life gets rough out there in this. I've been saying that so recently.
It's hard out here for a pimp.
Yeah.
Are you trying to make his money for the rent?
Yeah. Right now, I've just kind of just been thinking about what I'm going to do in the future, really. It's getting real, I guess. So I gotta look for what's next.
I expressed to my lady that I really have a hard time sticking to things. And I have to convince myself that I am passionate about something. And maybe you can say that's because I haven't found something that I'm really passionate in. And I ask myself a lot. I love writing. I love coming up with stories and worlds and characters and yada, yada, yada. And I always ask myself, well, do you actually do it because do you actually love it because you're very inconsistent with it? And I keep saying, yeah, I do. But I think I just have this deep, my laziness, sloth, one of the big 7. It's got this stranglehold on me where I procrastinate and I get lazy,
I feel like for me, it's kind of a mix of that and a little bit of insecurity. Am I good enough to stick to something?
Yeah.
Long term, or for however long I plan on doing it, or if I want to continue doing it for the rest of my life, am I at the point where I can?
Yeah, I can't I write stories and I feel like I've written some good things,
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I have a really creative brain because I literally saw a picture and I wrote out an entire short story based purely off of what that one picture was,
Yeah.
And I know that's not some insane feat. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I feel like I do have a creative brain that can write good things.
Mm-hmm.
But I also have this problem of when I am interacting with media that I enjoy, I get in my head, I could never make something as good as this, so I just shouldn't try,
Yeah.
And that's just not, you can't look at it with that mindset.
You can't do that and move forward. You just end up quitting. Yeah.
Yeah. There's an open writing competition that's happening right now. Well, the submissions aren't until July, but where you write a horror story based on AI, and there's a prize of $500, and you might get to have that turned into a podcast episode, which I'm guessing you would get the commission,
Possibly.
a percentage of the commission, whatever.
I guess, yeah.
But I really want to do that. But like you said, it's this insecurity where I am constantly comparing what I can think of to other people and being like, well, I couldn't do something like that. How do you know? You haven't tried.
So you thought of it, so yeah, do it.
Yeah, and also, I had this issue as well where when I think about something to write, like everything that I ever thought of when it comes to this show and the district and everything we were going to have in it, I would think of the idea and I would think of where I would like it to be. And when I just end up going through the process, I just end up quitting, Yeah. It's like, I really have to learn to fall in love with the process. The problem is, I know I love the process. I'm just fucking lazy.
Yeah, it's a double whammy that you gotta correct, I guess. I mean, I end up doing the same thing like half the time when you're giving me like the update storyboard on stuff like the district. I end up thinking of like things too. And I think even half the time I don't even like say anything about it or like say what I'm thinking. And only very rarely do I like actually add to some of the conversation sometimes. But I'm just like, why don't I? Like, I totally could be something I could add. I could flesh it out, see what you think, and, see where it fits into the story. But sometimes I just kind of don't.
Yeah, there was a time, and it was around the prisoner dating game that we did, where we introduced Freddie, random thing, last name.
Mm-hmm.
And I look back on that episode, and I think it's a good episode, and I enjoyed the little skits that we put at the beginning and the end of it. But I also get annoyed because I didn't even try, Like, I didn't even try to be a different character because I'm so, like, afraid of being cringy,
Mm-hmm.
But I've heard, Austin Butler? He played,
so?
He was in Dune. He's the guy famous for doing Elvis, and now he can't get rid of the voice.
Yes, yeah.
He was doing this series where this guy interviews famous celebrities on a subway, and he said that embarrassment is a emotion that people are just too scared to explore, but it's necessary,
Mm-hmm.
And I really thought of that, and there's so much stuff that I think I can do, but I hold back because I'm like,
too conscious of myself. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to seem stupid, and I hate feeling stupid, and I don't want to embarrass myself. And
yeah.
But it's like, who cares?
Yeah, in the long run, yeah, that's a good thing mindset to have, because I'm the exact same way. I'm too conscious of the way I perceive myself, and if I think I look stupid, that is immediately embarrassment, and I'm just like, yeah, nah.
Yeah.
And
I
feel like it.
Gone...
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, for me, it was more so like I gave it a reasoning of like, this is like morals or something like that, but half the time it never really even had anything to do with like, is it morally correct or not. It's just embarrassment.
Yeah. Well, I've gone to even thoughts like, reading a story to my future children and doing different voices and stuff. It's like, oh, what are you doing? That's stupid. But it's fun.
Yeah.
Well, you look stupid. Who cares? First
Your
of all,
kids.
do I actually? And you know what I mean?
Yeah. I hadn't thought as far as stuff like that. I'll be real.
I'm slowly learning that a lot of people don't go as deep into my head, like as deep as I do into my own head and my actions and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And not saying it's a bad thing or I'm better than anybody else, but I recently had a conversation with my wife, and I was like, do you ever think about like what you could have done better in high school or what you should have done and blah, 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 blah? She goes, no. I said, oh. Oh, because I think about that shit all the time. And I also think about the future and my children and who I'd want around me and certain events that would happen in the future. And I learned that people don't really do that. And it's just because I have a problem with living in the present because no depressing shit. I don't really like where I'm at in life, both like as a person, financially, mentally, spiritually. I don't like where I'm at. So I'm constantly like putting myself in the past and future to not be here, which is not healthy.
Yeah, yeah, that is a true statement. I had to throw back when you said, "Do you ever like think about the past?" to your wife, and she just goes, "No."
Yeah.
There was a friend, an ex friend of mine, who we were at like a donut shop one like late night here in town, and he was just like, "Do you ever think back?" It was like something super depressing. I can't remember exactly what it was, but he was like, "Yeah, do you ever do that?" And another friend of mine just went like, "No, what? Are you okay?" And
Yeah.
we just started dying from laughter from that. And it just made me think about that immediately. But yeah, it was one good time. But yeah, no, I don't usually find myself thinking too much about the past or even the future because I don't like where I'm at. So I'm like, man, how do I fix what I do where I'm at now?
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm talking about when I talk about like growth and what I think is happening to me right now and why I think it should have happened a couple of years ago is that I'm finally learning. I'm writing a letter to football, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because I've tried so hard to get over the fact that I quit and I'm not a football player anymore, and it just has not worked. Everything I've tried. So I'm finally trying to write a letter and make a video, and it sounds cringy, but make a TikTok video to that letter, and hoping that once I get all the thoughts I have about it, that finally I'll be able to let it go, and also
Mm-hmm.
let go of the person I was, and start finally putting those blocks down for the person I want to be. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, hey, sounds like you're starting to get somewhere. It's just you know what you got to do now.
Yeah, so I'm turning 25 this year. You know,
Yeah.
like I know people older than in their 40s are gonna be like, oh, you're only 25. But like I said, it feels like this should have happened years ago, and I just didn't let it. I just stayed, stagnant for so long.
I took the first step of moving out of my mom's house like halfway through college. I want to say. I think it's been probably damn, the time is actually 6 or 7 years since. Yeah, that's why. Since then, but after that, I kind of stayed in one spot. So it's getting closer to a point where I'm like, okay, now I really have to get and look towards my future because for one, like insurance, like I was still on like my mom's insurance because you're on that until you can be on that until you're like 26. Well, I turned 26 this year, so it's getting to a
Yeah,
point where I have to look into that too. And also, I mean, I'm not a huge fan of my current job, so I want to look into something that I would possibly be able to stick with long term that does have insurance. So yeah, it's getting real now.
yeah. I I hate the warehouse. I hate it so much, and I've been trying to look for something else. I've actually there's a sales position that I thought about, not telling small white lies to try to get the position, make a little more money, and it's about like sports stuff, which I thought would be fun. I'm thinking about taking on a side job to make sure our finances are good, but just like everybody else, you just want to find something that you don't have to commit a lot of time towards, or you just want to be fulfilled, you know?
Yeah.
And it sounds like a delusional thing when you say it out loud, because the majority of people just do a job because they need money to live, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm still in that position where I want to do something that fulfills me, and I think I can. It's just about doing it, you know?
Yeah. Same here. I just got to find something. Well, for me, part of the issue of finding a different job is I want to find one in my field. But the field of graphic design, entry-level jobs require 2 to 3 years of experience somehow. So I'm still on the lookout for that. We'll see.
What does it need the job to get experience? Need experience to get the job?
Yep.
Tremendous.
Mm-hmm. It's one of those. Yeah. Lovely field.
Before we hop off, what would you like to say on the state of this podcast, the future of it, any wants and desires?
Any wants and desires? Well, really, just
like overall thoughts.
I liked where we were. I can't say I want to get back to that. I want to get to something better. So hopefully here in the future, that starts happening and gets better than what we were before.
I think I want to get back to where I was planning out like the Red Light Arcade, where that's what I was thinking of, a live streaming channel, and having everybody in that other Discord come in and play games and whatever. Of course, I'm limited to what I can do, and build out the whole thing, because I was really happy where that was going, and I was really happy with the ideas that I was having. I don't know. I want to love this again. For a long time, we kind of recorded because it was a routine and not a love of it.
Yeah.
It wasn't something I was like, oh yeah, we get to record on blah, 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 and I'm going to do this, this, and that. Or, because I don't even remember the last time we had a special episode where we played a game or did a trivia thing or whatever.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that definitely dwindled with the change of work for me. For one, I think that's part of the reason, because I don't think I had the time to commit to editing a video like that.
Yeah. Overall, I do think that we have the capability of doing that. It's just putting the mind to it. I don't think it's lost, and I don't think it's not there anymore.
Yeah.
And I need to clean up a lot in this growth period. I have to clean up a lot of my mindset and how I approach things in order to get there. But I'm not going to officially say that this episode is going to come out and we're going to go back to weekly uploads just yet, because there's a lot of rough edges on both of our lives that we need to smooth out in order to get back consistently with a side project. But I do think that my mind will be running with ideas for this.
Same here.
That you've already seen, if you want to flash up the prototype graphics and profile picture and banner that I've come up with.
I said, look, I think it'd be down here. So yeah.
Yeah. Just to give y'all a little update, if y'all have survived this long, we're working through a redesign of how the podcast looks, both in the profiles that we have all over the internet and visually how it looks right now.
Yep.
And different graphics that we use for the multitude of different types of episodes that we have. And I've also thought about like a common thing of what I want this podcast to be. But I'm going to be honest, I really enjoy how it's kind of a variety of show to a certain extent.
I like the variety because we just do whatever we want when we want to. If we have an idea and we want to throw it up one week, we'll do it. And I like that.
Yeah. Like I've thought about having segments, but I don't know. I don't know if I would fully love to have, like, we have the movie episodes and we have the gaming episodes and the competitions and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if the regular episodes should be as structured as sometimes I think about having, where there's like a news segment and this and this and this and that.
I feel like that is something that may end up happening in the future, depending on how we structure the podcast as a whole. But I feel like I like what we did previously, like with the variety, like as you were saying. I feel like that's just something that comes with a experience. With structuring how the podcast should run on an episode by episode basis there.
Yeah. And also I do want to bring in guests, whether it's people from the Discord or different creators. It's just about me getting over my fear of being rejected. You know?
Hey, it'd be like that.
Yeah, and going to other people who are busy and be like, you want to be on my podcast? You want to be on the podcast that gets like 10 views a video? Which, hey, I'm proud of that. We worked hard for that 10 views.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But yeah. What's the old outro I used to do? Make sure you like, rate, and share. Especially rate the podcast 5 stars. It really helps. Spread it around. Give it a good word. And push it around to everybody's precious ears. And talking about good words, you need to get out there, right? You need to share it around. Whether that's clicking the crooked arrow and sharing to whatever platform you want to share it on. Or just words, just social interactions. Everybody needs more social interactions in this day and age. If someone comes up to you and says, yo, my podcast library, bit dry, what should I be listening to? Z, what do they tell them?
Well, you say, the boys are back. And you can go to Red Light Homies on YouTube and watch them fuckers because they look like they're coming back a little bit. They got some changes that are happening. So be on the lookout.
Yeah, we're not going to be singing no High School Musical sing along. But make sure you do all that. And I believe that's it. This was the homies, Jackie and Z.
That's me.
And we'll see you whenever we
see you. Yeah, peace out.
Rolling up a little bit of pie. Rolling with some shit that's fine. Fine shit hard on a 9. I'm rubbing on the tabs on the spine. Rolling through in the 8M. Wake up, be on the grind. Serving at 6:15. Serving in the 615.